Hey everyone, how's it going? I've been watching a lot of other channels on YouTube lately, and one that I've been enjoying a lot is JRose11. Shout out to him, by the way, if he ever sees this. Anyway, he has a ton of videos where he challenges himself to do solo Pokemon runs, mostly in Gen 1, and I thought, what a great idea. So please allow me to use TM31 with my own solo Kanto runs of the Gen 1 starters. Here are my personal rules. My starter is the only battle Pokemon. HM mules are allowed but cannot fight. If the starter faints, then it is reset. No items allowed during battle. There will be no cheats, Game Shark codes, or DV manipulation. And the badge boost glitch is allowed. For those who don't know, the badge boost glitch is an error that occurs during stat modifiers for your Pokemon. Each odd number badge gives you a 12.5% increase to all of your Pokemon stats. However, when your stats are modified during battle, both positive and negative, all badges apply their effect again, and this stacks. For instance, if you were to use Growth, not only do you increase your special by 25%, but all those stats that you have badges for also increase by 12.5%. Additionally, this also applies if the opposing Pokemon uses stat modifier against you, such as Leer. However, this does get reset if you level up during battle. If you enjoyed these videos, make sure to give a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. And who better to kick this off than my personal favorite starter, Squirtle. Squirtle has a decent move pool and good coverage from TMs. It has Dig for both electric and poison types, and Ice Beam for grass and dragon. I'm not too concerned overall for this run, but it has been 20 years since I've last played this game. Wow, that's really weird to think about. I'm going to play a little cautious. We start off by defeating the first rival and trekking our way up to Vermilion City. I decide to attempt Rival 1A, who now has Leech Seed and added a Pidgey to their roster. Pidgey outlevels and outspeeds Sergeant Bubble and blows sand in our face. Sergeant Bubble can barely land a hit and feints to the Pidgey. I decide to train up to level 11 and try again. The Pidgey still outspeeds and uses Sand Attack. I manage to take down the Pidgey, but not without several blasts of sand to the face. Up against Bulbasaur, the rival lands Leech Seed. I cannot land a hit as Leech Seed is slowly draining my health. The tackles that do land are quickly recovered by Leech Seed. I decide that this fight isn't worth it and move on to Booter City. A little shaken from the rival fight, I decide to battle the Light Years trainer in Brock's gym. My thought was that Water Gun has base 40 power as opposed to Bubble's base 20. I forget that Brock's team has such abysmal special that doesn't even matter. I end up not getting Water Gun before Brock anyway, and I decide just to go for it. Brock opens up with Geodude. Sergeant Bubble goes for his namesake and does 3/4 damage. Geodude goes for Defense Girl and I knock it out next turn. Onix comes out and uses Tackle. This deals 4 damage, and Sergeant Bubble uses his namesake again, dealing 2/3 damage this time and dropping speed. Now Sergeant Bubble outspeeds, and with another hit, and we win. Now we have Water Gun and we're ready to proceed to Cerulean. We now have Water Gun and are ready to proceed to Cerulean. I end up battling some extra trainers leading up to Mount Moon and inside. Misty can be a little tough. Her Pokemon will likely outspeed and have better special than I do, so I cannot win an outright water battle. However, I do have a plan. I go out of my way to pick up TM01 Mega Punch. It's a base 80 power physical move, which is much higher than Tackle's base 35. The drawback is that it is only 85% accurate, and Misty does like to use Harden and X Defend. So, will Mega Punch be enough? Let's find out. Misty opens the battle with Staryu and immediately uses X Defend. Ugh, this may have been a huge mistake. However, Mega Punch ends up dealing about half damage, so we keep going. Staryu uses Tackle and deals 4 damage. Sergeant Bubble swings again and nearly knocks out the Staryu. Another Tackle and Mega Punch knocks out her first Pokemon. On to Starmie. Starmie outspeeds and goes for Tackle. Sergeant Bubble swings again with Mega Punch, dealing less than a third. Misty uses another X Defend and Sergeant Bubble misses. Another Tackle from Starmie brings us down to half health, and Mega Punch takes Starmie down to 40%. Starmie gets a critical, and Sergeant Bubble hits air. No. Another Tackle, Mega Punch, brings us down to equal health. Please no crit. Starmie misses, but Mega Punch lands. So close. I decide not to leave it to chance and use Water Gun to seal the deal. Starmie tackles and crits again, bringing Sergeant Bubble down to 5 points. But Sergeant Bubble perseveres and lands the final blow on Misty. After that Nail Biter, Sergeant Bubble learns Bite, and I use it in place of Mega Punch. Consistency over power, I say. But we'll be getting another replacement shortly. Sergeant Bubble also learns to condense his namesake into a beam, and we head to Rival 2. Pidgeotto is up first, and Sergeant Bubble now outspeeds. Bubble Beam deals over half damage, and Gus is inconsequential. Another Bubble Beam takes out the Flying Menace. No accuracy drops, yes. Bite one-shots the Abra, and Bubble Beam knocks out the Rattata. Bulbasaur comes out, and Sergeant Bubble bites. It deals over half damage, but Bulbasaur growls. Sergeant Bubble has gotten a taste for the grass type and wants more. A second bite doesn't quite knock it out. Bulbasaur misses with Leech Seed, and a third bite knocks it out. This is much better than before. I proceed up Nugget Bridge, defeat the Rocket member trying to recruit a 10-year-old, and proceed to Bill's house to pick up the SSN ticket. On our way to Vermilion, I battle the Rocket Burglar and teach Sergeant Bubble Dig. Then I pick up Bananish as a cut mule. I do get paralyzed by the Butterfree, which does make the next two battles a little tense, but Sergeant Bubble pulls through. Once at the SSN, I pick up Body Slam, which has a base power of 85, 100% accurate, and an absurd 30% chance to paralyze any non-normal type Pokemon. After replacing Bite with Body Slam, we're ready to face Rival 3. Pidgeotto opens again and uses Quick Attack. Because I have higher special, I use Bubble Beam, but it doesn't quite knock it out, though I do get a speed drop. That doesn't matter because Pidgeotto uses another Quick Attack, which crits. Then Body Slam knocks out the giant turkey. Raticate is next. Bubble Beam crits, and goodbye Raticate. Now comes Kadabra. Sergeant Bubble goes for Body Slam, outspeeds, and one-shots it. So far, so good. Ivysaur is last. Body Slam does about 2/3 damage, and Ivysaur uses Leech Seed. Body Slam finishes the fight. After getting the HM for cut, I decide to tackle Lieutenant Surge. While I won't outspeed, I'm fairly confident in Sergeant Bubble. So after futzing around with the trash can buttons for a while, let's see how we do. Lieutenant Surge opens up with Voltorb. It uses Screech, which lowers my defense, but also boosts my attack thanks to the badge boost glitch. I go for Body Slam, one-hit KO. Next up is Pikachu. I outspeed, and Body Slam knocks it out. Nice. Finally, Raichu comes out, uses Thunderbolt, and gets a crit. Ah, shoot. In hindsight, I really should have gone for Dig, but it wouldn't have mattered. I reset and try again. Voltorb is first, and it goes for Tackle. It deals minimal damage, and I go for Body Slam. That Screech actually made a difference because now it's not a one-hit KO. Surge goes for X Speed, and I finish off with another Body Slam. Pikachu is still a one-hit KO with Body Slam, but now I realize I've had Dig this entire time. Raichu uses Thundershock this time, no crit or paralysis. Sergeant Bubble digs underground. Raichu misses with another Thundershock, and Dig one-hit KOs the Raichu. That's much better. Good job, Sergeant Bubble. Perhaps I'll enroll him in the officer program next time to be Captain Bubble. Rock Tunnel is uneventful. The hiker that likes to self-destruct his Pokemon was a cakewalk and pushes Sergeant Bubble to evolve into Blastoise. I head to Celadon City and do some shopping. I buy an extra water for the thirsty girl who gives me the TM for Ice Beam, and now we can battle Erica. Victory Bell starts out the fight and we're already 10 levels higher. I outspeed and go for Ice Beam. It survives on low HP. Victory Bell uses Razor Leaf, which crits, and Sergeant Bubble is below half health. Uh-oh. I'm running low on power points up for Ice Beam, battling the other trainers in the gym, so I opt to finish it off with Body Slam. I don't think Tangela can actually do anything to me, but I don't want to take any chances, so I use Ice Beam, knock it out in one hit. Finally, Vileplume. I use my last Ice Beam, and it barely survives with a sliver of health. This could be a disaster. Unless Erica uses a retroactive Super Potion, nice. I'm out of Ice Beam, but I use Body Slam. And Vileplume still holds on. It goes for Mega Drain, taking Sergeant Bubble down to 36 hit points. Body Slam crits, not that it would have mattered, and so long Erica. Honestly, that was pretty close. Those are the hardest gyms for Blastoise. I can use Dig on Koga's poison types, and Body Slam will likely one-hit KO Sabrina's psychic Pokemon. Blaine's fire type and Giovanni's ground types are all weak against water, so things are looking pretty good. Now we head over to the underground hideout, and looking back at the footage, maybe I should have gone here before Erica. These Pokemon are much lower level, and I could have avoided all those close calls with one-hit KOs. Something to keep in mind for next time. Sergeant Bubble makes quick work of all the rocket grunts, and I make it to Giovanni. At this point, Sergeant Bubble is seriously over-leveled, and Bubble Beam takes out 1, 2, 3, Giovanni uses Guard Spec on Kangaskhan, so another Bubble Beam makes it a clean sweep. Now that we have the Sylph Scope, we can head up Pokemon Tower, and unfortunately, Rival 4 is no match for us. I believe it's intended that you head up to the tower when you first arrive in Lavender Town and face him before Cerulean City, but that just wastes time, and so Rival 4 is a joke. Pidgeotto's first, and Sergeant Bubble uses Ice Beam. Down goes the future KFC meal. Gyarados is next, and I try Ice Beam again, but it doesn't quite knock it out. It goes for Bite, which does almost nothing, even with a crit. Body Slam finishes off the Gyarados. Bubble Beam one-shots the Growlithe, and Body Slam the Kadabra. Finally, Ice Beam finishes off the Ivysaur. Sergeant Bubble puts on a Proton Pack to clear out the ghosts, and we're given a Pokeflute for our efforts. We make our way to Silphco. This is the point that I realize that how long 20 years has been, because it takes me a long time to find the card key. When I finally do, Sergeant Bubble is level 47 by the time we face Rival Fivel. Pidgeot opens the fight with Quick Attack. It deals minimal damage but hangs on against Ice Beam. Body Slam finishes it off, which I should really use in future runs. So long, Redbird. Gyarados is next. Body Slam does about a third and also paralyzes. Gyarados uses Bite, which does minimal damage, and I try for Ice Beam. I get a Gen 1 miss, 1 out of 256, and Gyarados uses Bite again. Ice Beam hits next turn and is dealing about the same damage as Body Slam. Gyarados uses Dragon Rage, which always does a flat 40 damage, and now we're at half health. Sergeant Bubble finishes with Body Slam, and we have 3 Pokemon left to go. Sergeant Bubble's namesake beam one-shots the Growlithe, and Body Slam takes care of the Alakazam. However, I don't outspeed, but Alakazam wastes its turn using Recover. Gen 1. However, this does make me second guess immediately trying Sabrina after this. Finally, we have Venusaur. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds and goes for Ice Beam. It deals 2/3 damage, and Venusaur again goes for Leech Seed. Another Ice Beam knocks it out, and that's it for Rival Fivel. And now it's time to face Giovanni 2. Nidorino opens the fight. I mistakenly think it's Ground Poison type and use Ice Beam. It does a good chunk of damage, but it's not super effective, and I don't knock it out. It responds with Fury Attack, which just wastes time, and I use Dig for some reason to waste even more. Kangaskhan is up next, and Sergeant Bubble uses his namesake beam. It does 4/5 of its health, and Bite misses. Another Bubble Beam knocks it out. Rhyhorn gets one-hit KO'd with Bubble Beam, and Nidoqueen barely holds on against Dig. Goes for Tail Whip, which fails, and Body Slam is able to finish off Giovanni. I remember now that Sergeant Bubble can use Dig outside of combat, so I ride the good boy out of the executive floor of the Sylph building, dealing massive amounts of property damage. We head over to pick up Mimic, but after the rival fight, I decide to face Koga before Sabrina, fearing her Alakazam outspeeding. So let's see how Koga goes. First off is Coughing. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds and uses Dig, which one-hit KOs. Muck is next. Sergeant Bubble digs again. Koga uses X Attack, which honestly the only thing that would have been annoying is Minimize, and Muck is knocked out. Coughing number 2 is the same story, and now it's time for Wheezing. Sergeant Bubble digs again, and Wheezing self-destructs, which of course misses, and Koga is defeated. I teach Lapras Strength, and Sergeant Bubble finally gives up his namesake beam for Surf, which has a higher base power. Now we can go to Blaine, and on another playthrough I think that would be a better solution. I decide to head to Sabrina instead. Again, after futzing around with the teleporters for way too long. Can Sergeant Bubble take on Sabrina? Let's find out. First, Sabrina sends out Kadabra. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds and uses Body Slam. One-hit KO. Mr. Mime is next. Body Slam, also one-hit KO. Doing good so far. Venomoth is next. I decide to use Ice Beam. It does about half. Honestly, Body Slam may have been a better move here, but I don't know if it would have knocked it out. It goes for Stun Spore. That's no good. Luckily, it goes for Psy Beam, which almost does nothing, and Body Slam knocks out the Venomoth. Now it's time for Sabrina's ace, Alakazam. It starts off with Psy Wave, but misses. But Sergeant Bubble is now paralyzed. Alakazam next goes for Recover. Thank you, Gen 1. And Sergeant Bubble perseveres, lands a Body Slam. But it doesn't one-shot. Oh. Alakazam hits with Psy Wave. It does a whole 5 damage. And Sergeant Bubble hits with Body Slam. And we're through Sabrina. After dealing major structural damage to Sabrina's gym, digging our way out, it's time to face Blaine. Armed with Surf, I cannot imagine this being difficult. But sometimes Blaine can be tricky. Nah, I'm just kidding. This was a cakewalk. 1, 2, 3, and 4 surfs, and Blaine is burnt out. Finally, we can head to Giovanni. Both Rhyhorn and Dugtrio are one-shot by Surf. For some reason, I think Dig will do more damage against Nidoqueen, even though Surf is Stab. Nidoqueen barely survives, and Giovanni uses Guard Spec. Sergeant Bubble knocks out the Nidoqueen. Dig does one-shot the Nidoking with a crit. Though again, I should have used Surf. Finally, Rhydon is knocked out by another Surf, and now we're done with the 8 gym badges. Sergeant Bubble has been doing very good on this run. The last time we fainted was a Critical Strike Thunderbolt at Lieutenant Surge. Yeah, we've had some close calls, and there are some definite optimizations that we could do, but I'm very proud of my beefy boy. But now we're at the end game, and Rival 6 will give us an idea of how well the Elite Four is going to play out. So let's see. Pidgeot is first, and again I go for Ice Beam. Again, Pidgeot survives with a sliver of health and goes for Whirlwind, which if that lands, would be a technical knockout. Luckily it doesn't, and Quick Attack is nothing, even with a crit, and we drop it off at Wingstop. Rhyhorn is one-shot by Surf, Gyarados is next, and Sergeant Bubble uses Body Slam. We get a crit and paralysis, which is great. Gyarados is fully paralyzed, even better! Body Slam knocks it out. Growlithe gets washed away using Surf, and now time for Alakazam. It outspeeds, but goes for Recover. Nice. Body Slam again paralyzes. That's 30% chance is really working for us. Now we outspeed and knock out the Alakazam with another Body Slam. Finally, we're at Venusaur. Ice Beam does good damage, over half. This is looking good. But then Venusaur uses Razor Leaf. It crits and brings us down to 14 hit points. Ugh. Sergeant Bubble barely holds on, and we don't get the Gen 1 miss with Ice Beam. Venusaur is down. That was close. As we head up Victory Road, I want to talk about my strategy for the Elite Four. First off, I will not be saving between the Elite Four members, including the champion. There's a ton of RNG that goes on in this game, and I feel like it's more of an achievement if by going through all 5 fights in a straight shot. Second, I also picked up several rare candies throughout the run, but I'm saving them until after a few attempts. I prefer to beat the game at the lowest level without having to rely on absurd luck. If it comes to it, I will train up some more if the rare candies are not enough. I also won't be using Double Team because it just feels cheap. Now let's just see how Sergeant Bubble fares. First up is Lorelei. She starts off with Dugong, who can be a little trolly, and knows Growl and Aurora Beam, which both can lower my attack. I start off with Body Slam and get a paralysis. Body Slam is doing about a third, maybe less. It goes for rest, resetting the fight. I tried Surf just to see how much damage it deals, and it's doing about half as much as Body Slam. Because of my curiosity, Dugong wakes up before I can knock it out, and begins to rest again. 3 more Body Slams are used before it's taken down. Next is Cloyster, which has super high defense. Because of this, I use Surf, which does about a third. Cloyster goes for Supersonic, and now Sergeant Bubble is confused. I hit myself with the confusion, but Cloyster tries Supersonic again. I snap out of confusion and hit it with Surf. Cloyster really doubles down on Supersonic, but misses. Sergeant Bubble uses Surf again, knocks it out. For Slowbro, I don't have any good answers. I use Body Slam, which crits and deals about half, so that's good. It uses Amnesia, which is fine, as long as I don't get a Growl or withdraw. I get another crit with Body Slam, but it isn't enough. It goes for Growl and misses, and then another Body Slam takes it out. Next up is Jinx. I tried Dig just to see if the extra big power will knock it out. It's not, but triggers a retroactive Super Potion, so another Dig will knock out the Jinx. Finally, we're up against Lapras, which I know can be pretty annoying. I tried Dig again, Lapras misses with Confuse Ray, and Dig only does about 20%. Lapras uses Confuse Ray again, and Sergeant Bubble is now confused. It perseveres, hits with Body Slam, and I get a paralysis. Nice.
Why do I ever doubt you, Body Slam?
Lapras responds with her own Body Slam, but we don't get paralyzed. Sergeant Bubble stays focused and hits with another Body Slam. Lapras uses Confuse Ray again, which fails, and Sergeant Bubble snaps out of confusion. One more Body Slam, and yes, we one-shot Lorelei. Nice. Next up is Bruno, and what is there to say about him that hasn't been said before? He's a hiker that stumbled into Indigo Plateau, and no one has checked to see if he's an imposter. I don't even bother to heal up or restore power points. Bruno opens up with Onix, which quickly gets dispatched with Surf. Both Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee both get one-shot by Surf. Bruno's second Onix also gets one-shot by Surf. Bruno's ace, the champ, does survive, Surf dealing over half damage, but he uses focus energy, and yeah, that's Bruno. And now we've made it to Agatha, who is by far the trolliest member of the Elite Four. All of her Pokemon will status condition you and confuse you into oblivion. The only reprieve is that she selects all of her moves randomly, so there's a good chance she might use Dream Eater while you're still awake. Anyway, that is why I've kept Dig this entire time, so let's roll the dice with Agatha. Unfortunately, we're immediately in a bad spot. Her first Gengar outspeeds and uses Hypnosis. Sergeant Bubbles asleep, Agatha rolls again and uses Dream Eater correctly. Gengar uses Confuse Ray, and this is not looking good. She withdraws Gengar to send out Golbat, only to send out Gengar again. Meanwhile, Sergeant Bubble naps through all of this. Finally, Sergeant Bubble wakes up, gets hit by Nightshade, then hits itself in confusion. Another Hypnosis and Dream Eater, Nightshade, and that knocks us out. That was really bad. We did not get a single hit off, and Agatha's first Gengar outsped us, which means her second Gengar definitely will too. I decide to try again, but this time Lorelei becomes a problem. I get hit with 3 Growls before Lapras and have to resort to using Surf. Lapras uses Body Slam and Sergeant Bubble gets paralyzed. Then he gets parafused. We slowly whittle down Lapras' huge pool of hit points, but every time we get close, Lorelei uses Super Potions. Eventually the parafuse becomes too much and Lapras knocks us out. Oh boy. We try one more time and Lorelei is more cooperative. We knock out the Lapras, but it's much closer than I would have liked. I heal up before Bruno because I don't want to lose to Machamp. Everything else gets one shot, and Machamp again uses Focus Energy. Back to Agatha. This time Agatha rolls a 00 and uses Dream Eater. Awesome. Sergeant Bubble digs underground, Does it one-shot? Yes, it does. Perfect. We got through the first Gengar. We level up to 59, and now we're up against Golbat. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds and uses Ice Beam. It does not one-shot, though. However, Agatha uses a retroactive Super Potion. That's the best outcome. Another Ice Beam takes it out. Now we're rolling. Out comes Haunter. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds. All right, and we should also outspeed the Arbok. Yes. And yes, one shot with Dig. Okay, all that's left is the final Gengar, which does not know Hypnosis. That's big. I don't expect to outspeed, but as long as we don't hit ourselves with Confusion too much, we should be fine. It opens with Confuse Ray, of course, and we do hit ourselves with Confusion. Gengar uses Confuse Ray again, and Sergeant Bubble does manage to dig a hole. This could be it, though. But no, it hits itself with Confusion again. Gengar continues to use Confuse Ray. At least that's good. We snap out of Confusion. That's what we needed. Sergeant Bubble digs a hole. Does it one-shot? Yes, it does. We are on to Lance. Now, Lance, I think we should be okay. Yes, all of his Pokemon know Hyper Beam, but Sergeant Bubble is pretty beefy. And once we get past the Gyarados, we have Ice Beam, which is super effective against the dragons. So can we first try Lance? Let's find out. Surprisingly, Sergeant Bubble outspeeds and lands a Body Slam. It does about a quarter damage to it, so that's okay. Gyarados uses Dragon Rage, which always does a flat 40 damage, but at least it's not Hyper Beam. Another Body Slam brings Gyarados below half health, and it uses Leer. Now this is a double-edged sword. Our defense is lower, but the rest of our stats, including special, are increased because of the badge boost glitch. So as long as we outspeed, we should be okay. Body Slam should do extra damage and KO, but we get a crit to seal it. Hard to say if it mattered. But, oh no, but we leveled up, so the badge boost glitch gets cancelled. Shoot. Okay, now it's time for Ice Beam. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds, but does not one-shot the Dragonair. Uh-oh. Well, I did get a 1 in 10 chance to freeze, so that's nice. But this does not bode well. Second Dragonair comes out, and I get a crit. Wow, that's lucky. Aerodactyl is next. It outspeeds, but misses with Supersonic. Sergeant Bubble uses Surf and one-shots Aerodactyl. This is huge. Dragonite is last. The only thing that might take us out is a critical hit Hyper Beam. Can we do this? Sergeant Bubble outspeeds. Ice Beam hits. Yes. But no. It survives with a sliver of health. Oh my gosh. Dragonite uses Hyper Beam. And it does not crit. Sergeant Bubble survives with 50 hit points. And we are able to take out the Dragonite. This is a first try Lance. And we are off to the champion. Will Sergeant Bubble take on the champion without using rare candies? Let's find out. The champion leads off with Pidgeot. Sergeant Bubble somehow outspeeds and uses Ice Beam. It does good damage, and Pidgeot responds with Wing Attack, which almost does nothing. Ice Beam finishes it off, and we send the poultry off to Tyson. Next is Alakazam. It outspeeds, uses Recover. At least it's consistent. Body Slam does not knock it out, but we do get a paralysis. Okay, another Body Slam, and that's 2 down. Surf should one-shot right on, and it does. Great. We're halfway through, and now comes Gyarados. Sergeant Bubble uses Body Slam, does about a third, and we get paralysis. That's great. It goes for Hyper Beam and drops us down to half health. Ah, not great, but it's not a crit. For some reason, I go for Surf, and it does barely anything. Again, also, believe in the Body Slam. Another Body Slam takes it into KO range, but another Hyper Beam. That Miss Surf was a huge mistake. We finally knock out the Gyarados, and there's only 2 Pokemon remaining. Arcanine should get one shot with Surf, but no, it doesn't. Okay, Leer is fine. I'm pretty sure Venusaur only has special moves, and we get a boost from the badge boost. Arcanine is now knocked out, and there's only Venusaur left. Can Sergeant Bubble do it with only 43 hit points left? Sergeant Bubble hits with Ice Beam. It does over half. And Venusaur uses Mega Drain. Ah, so close. Oh my gosh. At this point, I decide to start using rare candies. And here's why. Yes, I could have played better and used optimal moves, but there were a lot of times when I could have one-shot the Pokemon with just a little bit more damage. So we're going to use 3 rare candies to bring Sergeant Bubble to level 60 and be more consistent. Will this be enough? Dugong still takes 3 body slams to knock out. It uses rest to stall for a little bit, but now we believe in the power of body slam. Cloister also takes another 3 turns to knock out with Surf, but only uses Spike Cannon, which does some damage. Slowbro takes 4 body slams, but it does get a growl off, which is not ideal. Surf nearly one-shots the Jinx with a critical hit, and Lorelei uses a retroactive super potion, and we finish it off. Finally, we have Lapras. I tried Dig to avoid the Confuse Ray, which does about 20%. Lapras uses Body Slam, and we're at below half health. Sergeant Bubble uses Body Slam to get a paralysis, but we don't get it, and it becomes a race of Body Slams. Lapras uses Confuse Ray, not good. Sergeant Bubble does hit itself with a Confusion, and Lapras uses Body Slam. We are now down to 26 HP. Oh my gosh, I might lose to Lorelei again. Luckily, Sergeant Bubble stays focused and hits with Body Slam. Still no paralysis, but we are doing good damage. Retroactive Super Potion is good. Another Body Slam brings us closer to a knockout. Lapras uses Confuse Ray, which fails, and another Body Slam almost knocks it out, triggering another Super Potion from Lorelei. I'm running low on Body Slam. I decide to go for Dig. Sergeant Bubble snaps out of Confusion, digs a hole, and a critical hit knocks out the Lapras. That was too close. Bruno is identical to the previous fight, though Machamp does use Leer instead of Focus Energy. Moving on. Now Agatha should be the first battle that Rare Candies actually change the fight. If we outspeed the Gengars, this will be an easy fight. If not, we'll have to press our luck again. Gengar 1 is first, and yes, we outspeed. That's huge. Sergeant Bubble uses Dig. Agatha withdraws the Gengar and puts in Golbat. Come on! Dig misses because it does not affect flying types, and we get it with Wing Attack. Sergeant Bubble switches to Ice Beam, still not a one-hit KO, but it does trigger a retroactive Super Potion. Another Ice Beam finishes off the Golbat. Gengar comes out again, and this time it stays in place and Dig lands. Haunter's next, and Dig takes it out. Arbok also gets one shot, and now it's just Gengar. Do we outspeed? No, but it goes for Nightshade. We've won. So long, Agatha. Time for Lance. Hopefully with the extra levels, we will get some one-shots and we can move on to the champion. Gyarados is first. Body Slam does over a third damage, and Gyarados uses Leer. That's not great, but we'll take it. Second Body Slam paralyzes the Gyarados, and it goes for Hyper Beam and misses. Yes! One more Body Slam takes it out. Now does Ice Beam one-shot the Dragonair? It does. Dragonair number 2, also one-shot. Now time for Aerodactyl. It goes for Bite and crits, but Surf takes it out. Alright, last up is Dragonite. Do we one-shot with Ice Beam? We miss a 1 in 256 chance for a miss. And oh, Dragonite goes for Hyper Beam. And it crits. Are you kidding me? So at this point, I'm a little mad. I could not believe we would get a Gen 1 miss followed by a Hyper Beam crit. Alright, we're not messing around anymore. We use all 6 rare candies, and Sergeant Bubble is going to be the champion. Dugong is still a 3-shot with Body Slam. Again, it stalls with Rest and gets Growl off, but we're through. Cloister is another 3-hit KO with Surf. Slowbro gets a Growl off, so now I have to resort to Surf. We get to Jinx, she uses Body Slam, and now we're paralyzed. Come on, Lorelei! We take out the Jinx, and now it's Lapras. It gets Confuse Ray. Great, now we're parafused. Luckily, we get 2 crits with Surf. A third Surf just barely isn't enough. We are fully paralyzed. Super Potion from Lorelei, but finally another crit knocks out the Lapras. Lorelei just never gets easier. And then Bruno is Bruno. Moving on. Agatha is now fully cooperative. We have beat the house. Dig for the Gengar, Ice Beam for the Golbat, Dig for the Haunter and the Arbok, and we finally outspeed and one-shot the final Gengar. Let's go to Lance. Body Slam does good damage and paralyzes. That's good. Leer misses, and Body Slam brings it into range. A second Leer lands, but Body Slam knocks out the Gyarados. Both Dragonair go down to Ice Beam, and now it's time for Aerodactyl. It still outspeeds and goes for Hyper Beam. No crit. That's good. Surf knocks it out. But okay, can we not get a Gen 1 miss against Dragonite? Ice Beam hits, and it's a one-shot. Yes, back to the champion. Let's go. Pidgeot is first. Sergeant Bubble outspeeds, and Ice Beam crits. And I've run out of bird jokes. Submit your best ones in the comments below. Alakazam is next. It uses Reflect, which isn't great. Body Slam is only doing about a third now. Alakazam uses Side Beam, which crits and confusion? Come on! That's a 1 in 10 chance. Sergeant Bubble uses Body Slam again, but we do get a paralysis, so we're still in this. With the paralysis, we're able to outspeed and knock out the Alakazam. Next up is Right On. Sergeant Bubble stays focused, knocks it out with Surf. 3 down, 3 to go. Gyarados. Sergeant Bubble snaps out of confusion and uses Body Slam. Critical strike and paralysis. Yes! Gyarados is now fully paralyzed. This is great! Arcanine gets one-shot by Surf, and now it's finally time against Venusaur. We're at half health, and if it uses Razor Leaf, we're done. Can Sergeant Bubble do it? Sergeant Bubble uses Ice Beam. Good damage, and it freezes! We've won! So much for that 1 in 10 chance. I cannot believe it. Yes, we got some good luck in the end, but as a kid, growing up with these games, I would have never thought it was possible to beat the game with just a starting Squirtle. And there you have it. Sergeant Bubble completes the game at level 67. Right now, I'm not considering the in-game time. For one, I have not played these games in so long that my routing is not at all optimized, and that will give a huge advantage for the other starters. I also take breaks, talk to my chat during the run, which means real time isn't a good measure either. I'll likely come back and redo this with an actual speedrun mindset. Stay tuned for next part where we attempt another solo challenge with Charmander. It is still the most difficult starter. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts on the run. What can I do better, and other Pokemon you would like to see me attempt. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to give a like and subscribe to my channel to be notified about upcoming videos. My name's Oso. Thanks for watching.